Need a little more spandex in your life? Tune into RangerCast, the first podcast devoted to Power Rangers and other Japanese superheroes. After 10 years adrift in a space dumpster, we are back with news, reviews, and special guests. Teleport to rangercast.net or summon us from your favorite podcast app. RangerCast is the most more phenomenal podcast on the web.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Anime Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Matt, alongside with my other host, Lance. And we have Alec with us today.
Glad to be back.
Thank you for joining us. Always good to have you joining us for these awesome episodes. As always, we have an adult beverage of choice, and we're making it really easy for everybody. And we are having the Jefferson's Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey and having summer Shandy because it's that time of year and just got to enjoy it.
And by easy, we mean everybody's drinking the same thing.
Yes, everybody has the same thing, so we can kind of just get into it. Lance, you want to talk about what we're going to be discussing today?
Yep, so today we are going to be covering the anime Takt Op Destiny, and we follow along three characters. Takt, a son of a legendary music conductor, Destiny, an awakened music art, and Anna, a childhood friend of Takt that helps take care of him because he's a good for nothing. This story takes place in the future of 2047, where alien monsters called D2s have crashed down to Earth via meteorites and began exterminating the human race. Our crew travels from the west coast of America to the east coast to New York so that they can further evaluate the bond between Takt and Destiny. Along their travels, they learn more about the so-called heroic group Symphonica and fight D2s everywhere they go. We learn right away that music has been banned because they attract all the monsters' wrath, but our main character is dedicated to keep music alive.
I like that. Thanks, Lance.
I don't know if anybody else has questioned what the OP or op in the title means. Have you guys looked into this or given it any thought?
Yeah, it's the music term opus.
Yep.
Which means?
It's essentially, I guess, in music terms, it would be like the episode, essentially, of that. So you have like your number or your suite, and then your opus is like it's a Latin word. I forget what it means, but it's a musical term that essentially means the episode of that composer's work. So Destiny is this opus.
Yeah, I got something pulled up on Google.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, this thing that I pulled up on Google says Takt Op Destiny. Takt is the name of the MC, seeing as Cosette calls him Maestro Takt in music. Composers label their work as op, short for opus. So Cosette represents Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, Opus 67. So it's Beethoven's 67th work. So this would be read as Takt's work or Takt's composition.
There we go. Perfect.
Great
like
definition.
So yeah, if you're wondering, it's Takt Opus Destiny, if you want to break it down.
Not OP.
Not OP. It's not overpowered.
Right.
Well, I mean, Destiny is, but yeah, different. It was a musical term, which I really enjoy. Being a musician myself, I love this series and all of the classical music that's brought into it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I know when Lance and I were talking about doing this, I'm like, we need Alec because this deals with music and this is his thing.
I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm actually in a music anime theme right now. I've been watching Your Lie in April almost at the same time I was watching Takt Op Destiny. So there was just a lot of just classical music just thrown my way. And I gotta tell you, I'm really enjoying this theme of anime.
Good.
Perfect. Great timing then.
Glad we can get you in the mood for it, I guess. Mm-hmm. Lance, can you give us that Lance's lesson?
Today's Lance's Lessons is going to be the Japanese word for car, and that is kuruma. Kuruma is spelled K-U-R-U-M-A, and kuruma is very relevant to today's episode because we are traveling cross-country style from the west coast to the east coast, so cars are very important for that. So kuruma, here we go.
Yeah, walking it would be a terrible time.
Oh my gosh, they could have made like 8 seasons off of that alone.
Lots of fighting.
And they had to take the long way around, so...
Yeah, they had to go down and then
loop.
round and up. Yeah, they couldn't go straight across.
They were helped by a train for a little bit of it when they met up with Symphonica. or I guess Symphonica met up with them.
Yeah, it was,
And it was definitely planned.
definitely planned. Yeah, I was about to say that was very
No.
deliberately planned.
Not planned. Total surprise.
Oh, yes.
But sorry to interrupt. As you were saying, just ran into them, and yeah, they really didn't say how far they got. They did.
No, it was never really revealed when their next starting point was.
We could have used a terrible season 2 of Shield Hero, where it just kind of plotted on the map where they were every episode.
Oh,
They
said they were going to the Symphonica was going to Houston, which was on the way to Louisiana, which is they said that was their destination. So they left at Houston and drove to Louisiana from there, but it didn't really tell you where they got picked up from. You just knew it was somewhere in the West Coast desert.
They just so happened to run into them on the train track,
right?
Of all places.
We'll call it Colorado, because I don't know, that's somewhere in the middle between the two.
I'd believe that or New Mexico, Arizona, anywhere that kind of quad area.
Yes, it was a short train ride, so maybe it was New Mexico, because that's right next to Texas. Granted, for anybody that is listening to this and is not in the United States, New Mexico and Texas are still far away. Like driving.
You're talking hours of travel.
Yes.
And that's with a car going pretty fast. But actually, I don't know how fast trains go.
Trains go decently fast. The problem is that they stop a lot. But I guess this one wouldn't stop a lot.
So
not this one. I mean, unless you got Takt and Destiny blowing up roads. But
I love how she bursts through whatever she's in.
Right?
No doors or windows. She's just wrecking everything.
Just through. I make my door.
Yeah, that was bringing up that one point when they go to the farm. Just can't even open up a window, can't do anything. It's just boom, big explosion, gotta go through, make my own way.
Lance, to go previously about your statement, trains, I don't know how fast trains actually travel. Part of the problem is that they don't go in a completely straight line like most of our highways do. So that's why taking a train will take longer than driving, because trains will kind of veer and go around everything.
Right, but I would like to imagine that at this point in time where things are kind of post-apocalyptic like, where there's not going to be many stops or anything like that, like where they can basically treat it as if it's a highway. Like,
yeah, but then
what are we talking?
You're still traveling around everything, because you saw they went through the mountains.
Yeah, they're still snaking around everything.
So that's the only reason why it take longer.
Yeah, they can't have all that momentum tipping themselves over.
Yeah.
I don't know how trains run out west. I know out on when I was on the East Coast, I would take trains from like Richmond to New York City, and it was around the same as it would be driving, but that was only because we took so many stops. There's like 20 stops along the way, and you're just going halfway up the coast.
So how fast do you think you'd be going on a train then?
I would say upwards of like 70 to 90 miles an hour.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, like you're booking it when you're going, and then you come to a stop.
I will say, when I took a train from Colorado to Utah one time when I was a child, and it took longer, but again, going through the mountains. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be different. Yeah, unlike a car where you can kind of just drive up the side of the mountain, can't really do that in a train. So
no.
Mountains are fucking scary, man.
That was a cool scene, though, the kind of defending the train against the onslaught of the flying D2s and all the music arts working together. So, I mean, that was all three: Destiny, Valkyrie, and Hell. Yeah, Hell.
In a way, yeah. She didn't come in until really the
very end. Do that big old monster boss.
I like that scene a lot, except for like the anime logic portion of how they took out everybody, because it took them like a solid 15-20 seconds, it felt like, for Destiny to start shooting the ledges, and
it took forever for the ledge to fall,
and then that
but it
just
crushed everybody.
But that's what happened to crush everybody. Like, that's plenty of time for things to go by, and that's not how everything needs to be solved in the end. Like, I thought it was such a cheap, old school way out of things, and
so I thought that the animation itself was very great. Like, there was a lot of colors, explosions, action going on. But you're right, it ended way too quickly. It's like they were blowing certain portions of their budget off certain parts of the episode, and they could only afford this much to put into it. It's like, all right, let's make this a really good 3 minutes.
I mean, I guess there's no source material coming out of this, so they're, I'm sure they're scrambling for like, ooh, what's a good cliche way to like wow our viewers or something like that, and then here we are breaking it down, and like, that's kind of stupid. Why would you do that?
What's a way nobody would think of? Let's destroy part of the hill or the mountainside to destroy everything. That's a good way to kill them. Okay.
And
Straight Mulan it.
Even if that's the case, I know they're blowing up. If they're going to blow up the cliff, I'm pretty sure they're blowing up the cliff behind them, which means they're damaging the railroad once again. So now they're going to
no return trip.
No return trip, or they're fucking over the next person, or something big is happening.
Well, why do you think they didn't go anywhere? They couldn't go backwards and they couldn't go forwards because Destiny blew up holes in the train tracks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's when that happened too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was during that fight.
Okay, so they just screwed both of their ways.
Yep. They kind of isolated themselves on two sides of the train track. They can't go back. They can't go forward. They got to fix their way.
Well, that makes sense on why they didn't go backwards.
Right.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. We explained part of the show for everyone.
Yep. Anime logic debunked.
Yeah. It's just an interesting scene. It's just anime logic shit that's going on.
So, there were only really a handful of characters, but which ones were you guys' favorites?
Near the end, I leaned kind of heavily towards Titan.
Okay.
Titan got me in one very specific scene that I was like, that's fucking awesome. And that was kind of like the limit burst move that she had with all the shotguns.
Oh, yeah. When she went to overdrive, the crescendo moment. Yeah.
Exactly. And like she had that super shotgun blast. Like it was animated pretty awesomely. The idea was pretty fucking sweet. So I was all in at that moment. So I thought Titan was pretty awesome. So
her attitude in that scene, that was my favorite scene of the entire series, was when she just went into overdrive mode and Lenny was giving her everything he's got. And she had those like 6 shotguns, and her face was just like, you're going to get effed up. Like, there's no escaping this. I'm going to blow your brains out.
Yep.
And then they still got out.
Yeah. And they still got out, yeah.
Well,
it didn't mean
Heaven
too much.
she was critically wounded. I mean, she never recovers from that.
Yeah, she cripped her pretty good. So, like,
yes.
It did damage, but it didn't, like...
She still got out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To an extent, anyways.
What about you, Matt? What do you got?
I guess I'm going to go with Destiny. Her sword gun thing was super awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Her appearance was really cool. It was kind of different.
I really liked like the thorny rose thing on her head.
Mm-hmm. It's like a headband. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what to call it. It was cool though.
It was cool. And her vibrant red dress. It was visually beautiful.
Bold.
Visually really cool. Her eyes are super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And just her overall character development between when she went from Cosette to Destiny to the end where she sacrifices herself for Takt in order for him to be able to survive. And so I just liked her the most. Her kind of dry sense of humor I enjoyed
I like that a lot.
And I love to eat, so just somebody who loves to have sweets all the time,
just pounding down those calories.
She did have a major sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of my favorite parts of her, though, is when that kind of like filler episode in Louisiana where she meets the cat and she's like, and then he gave me what I believe was a boop. I just died. I was like, that's great writing right there.
Yeah, that was really good. I liked that one.
She was definitely my favorite. Yeah, what about you, Alec?
So my favorite is actually Lenny. I thought he had great character development all throughout the show. And as soon as you saw him, you know that there was going to be a lot of fun to be had in the show. He had a great personality. He was always kind of bringing out people out of their shells and everything. And he was just an overall fun guy. I definitely attributed a lot of... I think why I liked Lenny so much is he reminded me a lot of that Final Fantasy character, Leon... So his name, the Final Fantasy character is named is Leon Lionheart, and Lenny's name is Leonard Flyheart, and he looks just like him. So I'm like, there's definitely some influence taken from Final Fantasy into this character.
That was from like
7.
9? Definitely not 7.
6, I think, or 10.
No, 10 was Titus.
That was the main character. So
he had the blade gun.
I want to say 9. It definitely was not 7. It definitely was not 10. Those are 2 big names.
I've played all of them. I don't remember the storyline between.
Regardless, it's super funny that you said Final Fantasy because that is literally the only thing I can think of when I watch this show.
I got a lot of influence from that.
Everything sounded it's so Final Fantasy-esque.
Even the battling with music, and I mean, there was just so much that could be taken from so many different parts. The sword gun. It was 8.
Final Fantasy 8. Okay,
We're in the middle. I said 7. You said 9. That's great. But Lenny was my favorite. I thought he was a great conductor. He was a great character. He brought Takt out of his shell. He taught him in Destiny how to like control being a conductor and music art. I thought he was a very well-rounded character.
And he's just a super nice and genuine dude. And then we get to learn a little bit of his backstory. And, like, he was super sad in the past. And Titan's like, if you can't smile, then I'll smile for you. And then Lenny's like, that's really nice. I
love that line.
That's really nice of you. And, like, when the day comes and you can't smile, I'll smile for you. And, like, dude, it's like, he's got such a pure fucking heart. And he's such a good boy.
I 100% agree. Absolutely.
It sucked to see him die. You know, I didn't want him to do that.
That was tragic.
But, you know, you got to pull on your heartstrings somewhere. You need that drama in the anime.
Yeah, then finding out that, you know, he was under the tutelage of Takt's father.
Yep.
So,
Kenji Asahina.
Yes. And basically that was his repentance for making with Kenji, right? Is that his father's name?
Yeah.
Kenji, yep.
Not really making him. Sorry, that's the wrong. His repentance for not being able to keep his father alive.
Yeah, he felt guilt.
Yes.
Well, he went to go visit the house, and like as he's about to knock on the garage, he hears Takt playing piano.
Yep.
And then he just hears him breaking down and melting down, and he's like, "Wow, like an apology is not going to do this kid any good. He really needs some serious help in his life. I'll be for him later on." And he really was. I think he kept his promise to himself, and that was just a huge, like, going from a past moment to a present moment of the show. I thought it was just brilliant.
Yes. Yeah, it was very, very well done. He was a really, really good character. Every time you saw him, I was just like, all right, what's going to happen next? Because basically every time he showed up, something crazy happened.
I did like in the beginning, maybe not so much in the beginning, but like in the first like actual mission when they went to Las Vegas, like they made us viewers feel like he was like a secret bad guy because he's dropping like stacks of fucking cash in front of the crops dude and like, show me your private casino, and like, I'm all in. And little did we know until the final moments of the episode that it was all an undercover act so that he can, you know, expose, that's a good word, expose this dude for all this shitty stuff.
Yep. No, he was very what's the word for it? Guile, I guess. Guile in his good ways.
Okay.
Like he has secret intentions.
Yes. I would agree with that. That's very true. Because he's
a whistleblower.
Essentially. But that's not what I was not what I was trying to say, but because he's not trying to, you know, expose anybody. Well, he is trying to expose somebody, but he's not trying to expose
evidence.
Yeah.
A second character that I would like to claim for myself that I found as a favorite. Okay. In an odd way, I liked Hel. Okay. But only because her English voice was like oddly, amusingly I don't want to say attractive, but like
it was like snake-like seductive.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was the way her voice just snaked. Yeah, she was so snaky. It was.
But it drew you in.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I really liked the way her voice just acted. It was a good voice actor. I liked it a lot.
Very fitting for the character.
Yeah. Yes, very well cast.
I don't know how to describe it any further. Like she just has these like creepy tendencies and like her obsessive attributes about what she's after, just it works, and I liked it.
And with her name being Hel too, like it just pulled the whole character together.
Yeah, so she was cool. I don't know if I cared too much about her rollerblade technique.
It's been done 1,000 times over.
I mean, if she's supposed to be super fucking powerful, rollerblades aren't kind of your go-to.
It's kind of a weird choice, but all right.
No, come on.
I mean, it's a unique choice. I will say that.
It's unique, and I did like that the potential of her slicing through attacks, like when Destiny shot a big blast at her and she kind of just kicked it away, like in a way, like sliced it. Like I can see that coming out of it, but like that's kind of the extent.
I mean, she could use it as a range attack and as a melee attack, similar to how Destiny fought as well. Yep. I mean, she ends up cutting Takt with it. So correct. I mean, because Destiny blocks 2 of the shots and then she kicks one of those little purple scythe moves. Gets him in the chest.
Alec, I have a question because Lantz and I each essentially had a favorite music art. Do you have a favorite music art?
Ooh, I guess you really mostly see the big four: Destiny, Titan, Heaven, and Hell. I would say of those four main ones,
You do
probably
see one more, but yeah.
or Valkyrie. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
but
there's Valkyrie. Yeah.
I didn't like Valkyrie that much personally. She reminded me of Cassandra from Soul Eater, that old video game.
You played a video game of Soul Eater?
Not Soul Eater. What was it? Soul Calibur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Soul Calibur.
Yeah,
the
okay,
girl
now I
with
see what you're
the
saying.
buckler and the sword. And
Yes.
It was just one of my least favorite characters in that game, so I just didn't like Valkyrie at all.
Valkyrie was like a stick in the mud.
It would probably
kinda
be
like-
between Heaven and Titan. I love heavy artillery people. Like I think machine guns are really awesome.
Yes.
But I mean Titan with the shotgun and Heaven with the umbrella machine gun, basically like an Uzi. I mean, they were both badass and very intense characters. If I were to have one personally, I'm going with Heaven. I thought she was extremely powerful and just overall cool and collected. She would probably be my favorite.
Yeah, her gun kind of seemed a little bit more expansive than just like a machine gun, because like we saw in one of the last couple episodes, like she had like a big ass beam come out of it too.
Yep.
Like this
She like
gun.
laser beam. It was a shield as well, the umbrella
Yeah.
part.
So this, I mean, we didn't get to see that one-on-one against our team, but like we can see that she was pretty powerful until Titan fucked her up.
I think she was definitely more powerful than Hell. And I think that's why
I
she
can see
saved
that.
Hell, because she knew that at least she would survive the blast, whereas Hell wouldn't.
Oh, okay, I like that. Good point.
What was your guys' favorites? Well, I guess
Well,
you
yeah,
had already
mine was
said
Titan,
Titan.
and Matt said Destiny. So Destiny was definitely like another close. Like Destiny, how do you not like Destiny?
Yes.
I love when she it was like I think it was episode 2 when she like goes in to kill the D2s and then she gets like blasted back and Anna's like, oh no, Destiny, Cassette, are you okay? How was it? And she goes, it was an absolute defeat.
Yeah, right.
Just so calm about it.
Yeah, no emotions, which was totally cool. I was totally fine with her being emotionless in the beginning. Like, okay, she's emotionless throughout the entire series, but like she starts to develop a heart. Yeah, she starts to catch on to human emotions and stuff like that. Like she's understanding. I can see why people wouldn't like the emotionless person, but like Cosette / Destiny, she pulled it off. I totally bought it.
Yeah, because one thing I will say is she was essentially reborn as Destiny.
Yep.
So she's not really going to learn how to have all of these emotions right away.
Especially with how emotional Cosette was. I mean, she was very bouncy, bubbly. She expressed her sadness. She expressed her excitement. So to go from that to an absolute, essentially, android, robot of a person, I mean, it was very drastic. But she kind of got the hang of it towards the end of the season.
Yeah,
Yes.
she picked up on a lot of things. She picked up on kissing, which I found was very weird.
Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
I started that sentence with another thought in mind, but I don't even remember where I was going with that. It's just kissing took over, because if it's one thing that creeps me out in anime is when they need to force feed water through a kiss. And we did another anime that we covered. I don't remember which one I'm thinking of right now, but like they had to drool some fucking water into somebody in order to hydrate them. I don't remember which one. I know we covered it because I had the same creep out
Shield
factor.
Hero?
No.
I can't remember right now, but the creep out factor just came all together again.
I mean, that's a very popular scene, even back as far as like Princess Mononoke when she's chewing up food for the
She
person.
bird fed someone?
Yeah, she bird fed.
I don't know Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, remember she chews up the jerky and like full on bird feeds them.
Oh.
And I mean, I feel like you see that it's like a very iconic scene in a lot of anime movies. I feel like this was one of the first ones where you see it in a show.
Yeah, I don't know which show you're talking about.
It'll come to me later, like like shit always does. Like like next week, I'll be like, "Oh, that's what it is," and I'll text you.
Yeah, we're gonna this is what I was talking about. Nice, Lance.
But yeah, they had to show the stupid scene where she's trying to like spill some water into Takt's mouth, and he's not taking it. It's like, okay, well, I'll just blow it in your mouth through with my mouth. But that's not the kiss scene necessarily that I was talking about. But that just got overtaken when I was explaining stuff. Takt gets kissed by Anna, and then Anna kisses him in front of Destiny, and then it only makes me think that like, okay, well, she's experiencing some more human emotion emotions. And
Jealousy, yes.
maybe not so much jealousy, but like
Did you see that face? She was definitely jealous.
maybe.
I took it as surprise because Anna was always like the mom of the group, and then she kind of expressed that like she cares more deeply about Takt than as like a babysitter like love. It was like a full on like, hey, I care about you and would want to be like your girlfriend type of love.
Yes.
It made a very drastic switch right for the last episode. And I was like, oh, I kind of always ruled her as big sis.
Yeah, didn't see a kiss coming at all. I did foresee some stupid thing between Destiny and Takt.
Yeah.
But between Anna and Takt,
none.
I didn't really see that.
I can really see the Destiny and Takt one because they essentially had to get their emotions together. So when you're experiencing emotional, in this case, emotional turmoil and other various emotions together, I feel like it's just naturally going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Right, they grew together.
Yes.
So and I saw that. And what I was going to get at was Destiny witnessed Anna kiss Takt, and then she's like, well, that's how I feel towards Takt, so I'm going to do that too, in a way.
Or she thought of it as a desperate, like, oh, I'm never going to see you again, so I need to do this kind of thing.
Yeah. What did you guys think about the last fight with the heaven and hell combo when they've kind of, confused together like Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, when they Patara ringed each other through the death of
the stabbing of the tuning fork.
Yeah, and became Orpheus.
Orpheus, yes.
Orpheus
of the underworld, even though it's heaven and hell.
Yeah.
Timmy and the lords of the underworld. Sorry, I had to.
Orpheus was badass. I liked Orpheus a lot.
Super,
but
I didn't like the way she died.
It was so lame. Oh my gosh.
It was so
anticlimactic.
Yes, that's a good word.
Like they made her. It's kind of like in the Brawley movies where they made her too strong. Mm-hmm. So they're like, well, how do we make her die that is believable? And you can't. You couldn't.
Mm-mm. And there's no way Destiny was ever going to realistically beat her.
No.
What makes me most upset about this is we've been coming to learn through the anime that Takt and Destiny need to work together to reach their potential.
Yes.
And then at this final fight scene, they split off. So they're not working together. So they're not going to be at their optimal whatever.
Fighting potential.
Yeah. So, like, why would Destiny be able to take on such an advanced form of another music art when her conductor's not even there to begin with?
I agree with you there. And I think that was just anime logic. Like, let's just throw in overpowerness, like activate overpower mode. When all of a sudden Takt's conductor wand, the baton, when that disappeared, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Did Destiny lose? Like, wait, did I miss something? And I thought she died or something because normally, like, if she overpowered or she tried to do something she didn't have the power for, she would just revert back to the Cosette stage and Takt would get his arm back. And here, like, the wand disappeared. And I'm like,
I thought yes and no at that moment. I thought yes and no because the wand disappeared, but his arm was still gone.
Exactly.
Yes. So I was still okay at that moment. Like, okay, so that still doesn't answer why his wand fucking disappeared.
I think she just expended a lot of power.
Maybe.
Yes, that was the last bit of power he had. Was the wand time.
So he could keep her as music art mode, but not overpower mode. And I think that was the loss of the wand.
Maybe.
I will say, I was not super thrilled by the ending of the anime.
It opened itself up to season 2. It did, because it shows on the TV like there's still mass attacks on the East Coast of the D2s.
Yeah, but then, you had Cosette basically sacrifice herself so Takt could get potentially maybe saved.
He was put in the cryogenic chamber, so he's frozen now.
He's frozen, but Cassandra, I think that was the sister's name, the older sister.
Charlotte.
Okay.
Lottie? What did she call it? Lottie. She called herself Lottie.
Yes.
Yep.
Said maybe one day. Mm-hmm. So there's not even a guarantee that he will get saved. So it's like, I don't know.
Especially since like cryogenics today is basically an absolute failure.
Well, this is also 25 years in the future.
Right. But like,
which is really not that long. Oh my God.
It's not.
2047 is really close.
But cryogenics hasn't moved a fucking inch in the longest time. So
Ted Williams' head is still frozen. So
you can't revive frozen dead tissue at this point.
No.
So
there's no reanimation.
Yeah.
In this show,
reanimation.
I guess it will really all depend on the success of the video game, the mobile game. And if that is a success, then maybe they'll make a season 2 based on the campaign of the mobile game. But I will agree with you. The ending was just kind of anticlimactic. They killed him with a sword thrust, and then apparently that was supposed to be the end of all the D2s in the area, but there's still a problem in the East Coast, so it didn't really do anything.
I mean, it only brought an end to the ones that he was currently producing.
Yeah.
Which was literally nothing. All they did was just stop a further production, which brings the question...
Like, you got no real anything by the conclusion of the season.
Not much
Exactly.
of anything. Like, all they did was just stop a Psycho.
Yes.
Well, I still question how more D2s came into...
Because they were the ones awakening the slumbered ones.
No, I'm not talking about the slumber ones. I just want to go... Sorry, I want to go back to the very beginning with the Black Meteorite.
Yes.
How did the originals come forth at all if we're looking at
We sent a
Sagan?
mess-
Oh, that's another thing I want to say is his name is, in the anime pronounced his name is Sagan, not Sagan. So Sagan, the final bad guy, he was like given his own life. We never necessarily saw that he was given blood or anything like that, but he was just stabbed by these crystals. And he was producing D2s through that. So like we need to know more about these D2 productions, origin style versus
So
crystal style.
they came to Earth because we sent a transmission to space, and they came to us.
Because they had because the music arts came first,
Right.
With the the first meteorite came in, and they had those like I think they're called like Loden stones or something, and it was the necklace that Cosette was wearing at the beginning, and the
really?
scientists were doing all the experiments on it was like the very first 5 minutes of season 1. I had to rewatch the first couple episodes to kind of get my grips on things, but that first meteorite comes, they get the stones, and then the second massive meteorite comes. That's the Black Knight Cyanide or whatever it was.
Yep.
And that had the D2s in it, and at the D2s was when the Loden stones awakened the music arts, and the music arts were the only things that could take down the D2s.
Yes.
Right.
So it was a progression of it was 2 meteorites, but the music arts didn't show up till later. Which begs me to think, I think Hell was one of the original music arts that brought on the onslaught of the D2s, which is why the music arts came in the first place.
Could be.
Makes sense.
I mean, well, let's discuss real quick. Who do you think is the controller of the tuning fork, Heaven or Hell? Because I'm a little confused on who is.
I would
can go
say
both
just by
ways.
their name, Hell.
Hell. Yeah.
Well, remember, Takt has that flashback where he looks up and you definitely see the silhouette of Hell, but you see another person standing alongside, a man standing alongside, who I thought was Schindler, but it turned out to be Sagan. Remember at the very beginning when he sees his dad died and he's like trying to recover his dad from the broken rocks?
Yeah.
And he looks up and you can definitely see Hell. Like it's definitely her silhouette.
In episode 1?
No, this was in episode like...
Oh, this was a flashback.
Yeah, it was a flashback.
Okay.
It was like episode like 10? 9 or 10?
9 or 10. If we're talking
Yeah.
flashbacks, that's probably around that time frame, yeah.
And you definitely see Hell. You see a man's figure. I thought it was Schindler. Turned out to be Sagan when I rewatched it.
I definitely did think that it was Sagan. I didn't pick up on Hell.
Well, she summons the tuning fork.
Yeah,
But-
I can. If that's what both of you are feeling towards, like I said, I thought it was one of the two, Heaven or Hell. And if you guys are both leaning towards Hell, then I'll accept your guys' lean. But
I mean, Heaven does have slight control over it. She did do the hand signal to, stab it through both her and Hell.
maybe that's
So,
why I was originally thinking.
I
it
think
was
they
Heaven.
both have a factor in it, but I think Hell has the awakening of the D2s, whereas Heaven had the power to combine her and Hell with the tuning fork. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like each of them had separate powers of the same object.
Yeah, that's right. I was about to say twins or something, like some kind of twin.
Which would make sense why they can fuse together.
Right.
Yep. I mean, that's what I gathered from watching it. I mean, I'm sure everyone has their own interpretations.
Yeah, I can go in any direction. I don't think it's ever been point blank explained or anything like that. But before we get any further, we need to make sure we get a break in.
Alex, since you're a music guy, is there any music related things you want to talk about?
Absolutely. So speaking of my favorite character, Lenny, did you all notice his tattoo on his neck?
He has a tattoo?
Obviously not.
It kind of looked like I kind of wanted to know what your guys thought of that was.
I'm gonna need to Google this real quick.
You didn't notice his neck?
No, I don't.
He's a pretty big neck tattoo that's prolific.
He's got a fairly large neck too. So
Yeah, it's on his left side.
Do you want to describe it real quick?
It kind of looks like the number 13 or the letter B.
Oh, okay. Now that's bringing up some memories. I'm gonna have to.
Do you know what that is? Does that ring any? Does that
Yes.
symbolize anything to you guys? Or I kind of wanted, as a non-musician, what does that mean to you?
that means literally nothing.
You just thought it was a symbol? You just thought a tribal tattoo?
No, I knew it was something music related just because of, the anime, but I had no idea what it means.
Gotcha.
I mean, depending on which angle you look at, it kind of looks like a 113 or I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so what's going on here?
So it's actually what's called a C cleft. So you know how there's treble clefs? It looks like the S music symbol. It's your traditional music symbol.
Oh, in the beginning of the sheet.
Yeah, in the beginning of the sheet music.
In the beginning
yes.
of the line, yeah.
So the normal cleft is called the treble cleft. That's that S symbol you normally see.
Yes.
And then there's the bass cleft, which looks like a letter C with 2 dots on it.
Yes.
Sort of. So this is what's called a C cleft. And that's important because whenever he summons Titan's shotgun, there's always a motif that plays. A motif is a musical occurrence that always happens on something. So whenever Destiny is summoned and she turns on that red dress, you hear that it was like that piano sound.
Yeah, there's that.
Because
there's
he
that
plays
there's that twinkle.
The twinkle, yep. Because that's a treble clef twinkle. Now, whenever Titan was summoned, you hear the horns kind of thing. It was the horns playing.
Okay.
And and that's important because the C clef is the clef used for like saxophones, trombones, trumpets, things like that, oboes, clarinets, and which I found very odd because he was a cellist.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna go in a different area. I was gonna say, okay, so we're talking about lower tones, almost bass-like, and then we're gonna reflect that off of like a shotgun that's like low tone, fucking in your face kind of a sound.
It's actually higher.
That's where I'm.
The C clef is for higher sounding notes.
Oh,
so
okay. That's not
things
where my
like
mind
that are
went.
more soprano. Things like the soprano saxophone, which kind of looks like a big oboe, sort of. Things like that. In saxophone, everything other than a baritone saxophone uses the C cleft. It's a very you don't really see many sheet musics with a C cleft in it, which kind of pulled me to it instantly. I was like, oh, cool, a C cleft. I haven't seen that since my music theory days. So I was really pulled into it. But then when I found out he was a cellist, I was like, well,
Really
that's interesting. The cello is the instrument that is the closest to the human voice. It has the same range as the human voice. So when you hear a cello, that's essentially the voice of the song, the singing.
Okay, describe to our listeners what a cello is, because you acted out right here, but a cello is...
So there are 3 versions of an orchestral instrument. So there's the violin, which you hold on your shoulder and play and play. It looks like a 4-string guitar, but you play it on your shoulder. And then you have the viola, which is the bigger version, a deeper sounding version of a violin. And then you have a cello, which you play in between your legs. You kind of spread it out, and you have the bow going across from you. And then you have the bass, which is a very big version, a deeper version of the cello. And he played a cello, which does not use the C cleft, whereas it uses a treble cleft or a bass cleft if you're playing the really lower notes.
I think that had everything to do with
Titan.
Yes.
Because when Titan summoned the shotgun, you hear the horns,
Yep.
and that's what uses the C cleft. So I think...
Is that where their lower notes come from?
The horns?
The lower note, because I'm trying to...
The bass is the lowest.
Right.
So bass is the lowest cleft.
I'm trying to think of like a shotgun, because when a shotgun shoots, it's so bass enthused.
I think every music art just had a different tune. So
Okay,
Destiny's
you
was
don't think there's
piano.
a connection between a shotgun and like the way a shotgun might sound? Okay.
I don't think it had anything to do with her weapon. I think it had to do with her as a music art soul kind of thing.
Yeah, her an individual.
Yes. Okay. So because her symbol was horns, which was the end of her shotgun was a trumpet, and if you notice, it had like a barrel to it, an extended barrel, which could sort of be it wasn't a hard leap to translate that to a trumpet, and I think that's why he got the tattoo, because he didn't have that when he was a cellist. It was a completely bare neck, and then when he's flash forward into the future, he's got that C cleft, and I think he got that tattoo for Titan because Titan's symbol was the horns.
Okay.
And I thought that was really cool. Just when I saw that as a musician, I was like, all right, cool. They have actual legitimate musicians in on this show, and that really brought a lot of warmth to my heart.
Well, I'm glad we have you to break this stuff down, because if it's one thing that I've picked up on from internet kind of stuff is that everybody's name, as far as music arts, at the very least, has to do with some musical number. Like we know that Destiny is Symphony number 5, and
dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun, which they play at the very end of this series a lot, which I really enjoyed.
And I mean, just everybody is connected somewhere. Like even
Handy dandy notebook.
Yep. Even Orpheus. Orpheus is a musical number as well.
Yes.
Did it say what was she?
Quick Google search.
Orpheus and Eucrites is a tragic love story.
Yeah, that sounds familiar from what I was looking at in the past.
Oh, okay. So I see Overture.
Also, Orpheus is an ancient Greek legendary hero endowed with superhuman musical skills. So there you go.
It's also an instrumentation that has the flute, the oboe, 2 clarinets, and a bassoon, amongst other horn instruments and percussion.
All right. A lot of stuff going on there.
Perfect. More knowledge learning as we're getting through this.
Okay. So, clearly.
Yeah, Overture. It's the Overture. It has 3 acts.
But there are only 2 people.
But they become a third.
2 become 1, which makes a third?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that's what it is. 1 + 1 = 3.
Yeah, Orpheus is supposed to be the musical version of the Overture.
Okay. Yes.
Offenbach.
So, yes, all of them are musically related.
Is
yes.
intertwined between everybody in
classical music, specifically.
Classical music. Which I know, Alec, we had been talking prior when it comes to classical music. Me personally, I love classical music. If my go-to classical song is going to be Moonlight Sonata.
Okay.
And that is strictly because of Resident Evil, the very first game.
Respectable choice.
When Jill plays it on the piano and opens up a secret door. That was the first impression I've ever had of a classical music song. I was just a child, and that brought, with a horror game, that brought calmness to my heart, and I fell in love with that song at that moment. I was, like I said, just a child, maybe like 7-8 years old playing this game, and it's stuck with me until
so questioning parenting.
Yeah, my dad is the one that introduced me into these zombie filled games as a young
surprising.
child.
I was watching Matrix around that time too, so questionable parenthood at a point, but I'm glad that music spoke to you in that way. That's really cool, because it brought you calmness and a sense of ease in a land of horror. So that's really cool.
And until this day, when I know I'm not like putting pedal to the metal at it or anything like that, but like when I'm writing in my book, I like to calm myself down with classical music. So I'll listen to any of the original classical shit. Calms me down.
Gotcha. Do you like more stringed based classical music, or do you like more piano based, or do you like full band with the woodwinds and everything?
Ooh, a little bit of everything. Like I will listen to it on, well, years past, Pandora, today's Spotify. I will listen to the randomized like Nutcracker shit, always a great choice. All of the original numbers, always a great choice. So I'm pretty open to anything, because they all put me in a nice trance for thinking and just relaxing.
Absolutely, I can absolutely agree with that. Matt, do you have any experience with classical music, or was this kind of just all foreign to you?
I wouldn't say it's foreign to me. I will say it's not my forte. I'm not really a huge classical music individual. I do enjoy it when it's playing. I don't shy away from it. But as far as like, hey, let me open up Spotify and go to classical music. Yeah, that's not in my wheelhouse.
No, don't get me wrong. Like, I totally understand. I am a hardcore metal fucking person.
Yes.
But when it comes to me wanting to get in the zone for writing and just being in that kind of zone to focus, it's classical music.
Yeah.
So if you like hardcore metal, I have quite the classical music list that goes with hardcore metal.
Oh,
a
yeah?
lot of it where it's based off of. Yeah, absolutely. And it's wild hearing, people from the 1400s writing pieces that if it was played on a guitar, it would sound like it was freaking shredding. And Toccata is one that I can, bring up right off the bat, where it sounds like metal being played on a piano.
Okay.
And it's absolutely riveting to your soul. I find that hilarious that I'm not going to go to Pandora and play that. And I was on a plane last week, and coming home I saw that it had a Spotify playlist, and the first one was classical music, and I was like, oh sweet. So I clicked on that instantly and listened to it the whole plane ride home. And I was like, that's my go-to if I want to listen to nice relaxing music. Classical is right up there at the top. I mean, you can't. It's tied between piano and orchestral pieces. I love 4-piece string quartets, but classic piano, especially dual classic piano, really speaks to me.
Duo brings so much more fun into it.
Yes.
Like, if you want to relax but also have a slight upbeat to it, then that's the next level. Like, it's more, it makes it more fun. How about that? Like, okay, so in my sense, like, if I'm trying to write and I'm trying to get to a more exciting part, and then I'm hearing like a duo, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit of a beat going on. Like, I'm relaxed.
It's a competition.
Right. I'm relaxed, but at the same time, I'm feeling the pressure and I'm feeling it. Like, it's interesting and I like it.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Now, when we talk about like country, that's a whole different story. Like, country turns me off.
Okay.
So, music gets me going in so many directions. Metal, pop, punk, rock, all of that stuff. As long as there's a good beat to it, as long as there's energy, I'm all about the energy. And then when it comes to classical music, when it comes to relaxing, I need that for my writing.
I have a playlist that I gave to my little brother, and it's classical music to work out to. It pumps you up, and it's all upbeat and just in your face music.
Yeah.
And I would be very happy to share that with you.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few on there, some Toccata, Vivaldi, some Chopin, just musical masterpieces. Pachelbel has a lot of really good cello pieces that they're so fast and just technical. And it sounds like, those hardcore guitarists that are just shredding, but it's classical music and it just blows your mind away. And honestly, I mean, I get a kick out of it. My little brother does as well. He's not even a musician. He's a total numbers nerd, but he gets a kick out of it as well. And it's perfect workout music, I will say.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely give it a try. As long as it's pumping, I'm up for it.
Those people, they banged back then. Like, they had some great bangers, and I feel like a lot of it is lost now because music ability is just, it's sad to say, it's just going down the drain, which is why I really like shows like this has got me really far. I mean, the whole time I was listening to this, I would watch an episode, I'd go down and I'd play my keyboard. I come back up, I watch an episode, and like I said, I was watching this and Your Lie in April, so there's just a lot of piano being thrown at me, which is probably why I got right back into piano, which I loved. Piano is my favorite instrument to play.
Piano's beautiful.
It's just such an intimate instrument. It sucks you into it, and I love hearing those just absolute masters play this music. It's it's amazing.
I contemplated taking on violin for a moment. After one of my past relationships ended, I was so hardcore into Lindsay Sterling.
Yep.
And I was like,
huge fan.
I fucking love this chick. I love everything she does. I want to do what she does. And I was so ready to jump jump on the violin board.
I used to play the violin. I can't anymore. It's been around 10 years. I tried. I still have it. It's awful. You don't use it, you lose it. I will say that as a musician.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's very true.
I played trumpet in high school. I read all the music. I was amazing at it. Show me a sheet today, I'm not gonna know shit.
No, it's actually sad. It's embarrassing playing music that you can't play anymore, and it's hard. Learning violin has a very, very sharp learning curve. Like, it takes a while to learn it, and then once you do, you're like, oh, thank God I understand this, because it takes a full year to fully understand that instrument.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but when you do, it really teaches you music, because you're not playing with your eyes anymore, you're playing with your ear, and it just, you feel it in your body. You don't see anything, and it's just a very interesting way to play music.
Okay.
Apparently, it's a good thing I never learned how to play.
Highly suggest it. Any instrument, whether that's ukulele or guitar or piano, it brings a different, you pour your soul into it, and playing it for other people, you're revealing your soul to it. Puts you in a very vulnerable situation, and there's nothing quite like it. You're doing a music is a art, it's a science, it's a math, it's everything all in one, and there's no real way to describe it other than pouring your soul into sound. And that's what I love about anime, like music anime, is it really kind of encapsulates that.
Too many things at once. I just can't do it.
It's a lot.
I can feel it. I get it. I just can't do it.
This is Alex's passion. So
yes.
This is his jam.
More power to you.
Jams.
If there wasn't music in the world, I don't know what I would do with myself.
In this whole anime, music is banned. Well, I mean, I know you guys listen to music. What would you do without it?
I would be those guys in the underground bar in
Louisiana
every day. Just got to do something. Like it would happen.
I could not go that long. I can't. Okay, I'm at work doing my own thing. I cannot imagine doing that without music. I need that. Don't get me wrong. I can get inside my own mind and think, no problem, and just go into weird places. But that's the point, is going to weird places. Music just makes your day go by, and it brings you peace. It makes your days go by faster. Music just helps everybody's daily life.
Absolutely.
And if you take that away...
It's been, 10 years?
Oh, I don't remember. I think there was I remember at some point there was a 4-year period. I don't know if that was between...
It was 10 years since the thing collapsed. It was 4 years since they all went dormant.
Dormant? Okay, I was going to say, was it 4 years when Takt's dad died and 4 years
Probably around the same time.
Okay. Yeah, something like that.
And so, 10 years without music, I would lose my mind.
Mm-hmm. And it was 4 years without music, because that was when the treaty was signed, that they weren't going to play any more music, and the D2s weren't going to awaken.
Even 4 years. Way too long.
So long. I can't go a week without playing.
You're going to have all of the super fucking shitty Americans being like, fuck that, I'm going to play music anyway. Oh, never mind.
They were in America.
And
then they probably got killed by the D2s.
I was going to say.
And they were still playing music, so...
Nature took care of itself. They were taken care of anyway. So the people who are going to be wooing their own...
Yeet. So
yeet.
One thing I will say is I appreciate that it was Louisiana, because
birthplace of jazz.
It's ingrained in the culture that I really appreciate the fact that it was there, that they're like, you know what? Music cannot go away.
Right.
That was a very important scene for Takt as well, because the whole beginning he was like, will my music reach them? Does anybody other than Anna and Cosette really care about the sounds that I play?
Yeah.
But then he played to that crowd that didn't have Anna and Cosette there yet, and he was reaching all of them. And he looked over, and he had that look on his face like, wow, my music does matter. Yes. And that was a really cool scene for him.
Even a moment before that was one of my favorite scenes in this entire series, was when Takt went into this underground bar and he pulled his father's album out. And then he played it. And then the bartender was like, oh, I didn't think, usually we play jazz. We didn't play, traditional shit here. And then they started talking, and the bartender was going off the hinge about how awesome Mr. Kenji was. And Takt is like so casual, like, yeah, that's my father. And then like the jaw drop that happened between one of the customers and the
guy he had followed in.
Yeah. Like the
I knew your dad. I played with him.
Yeah. So that's kind of the genuine. That's the word I was looking for. The genuine jaw-dropping moment of when they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you're actually him in the flesh. Like, the spawn of blah, blah, blah. I liked, it was emotional enough. It was like, I felt that was real, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So like, because the bartender, he was super into it. And then that other guy who used to work with his father,
the tuba player,
like he knew. And then he's like, okay, let's go into the back room.
Mm-hmm.
And
the secret room.
Yeah. Like, we're an underground bar. Let's go into the underground bar.
Because there's always another level.
Yeah.
I mean, it's New Orleans. I mean, there's always other levels.
Yeah. Well, I would like to visit. Let's see how this place is.
Top 10 places I want to visit in the United States. Absolutely. I would love to go to New Orleans because of the music culture there.
Okay. I would like to visit just because.
I'm not much of a jazz musician. I mean, I know some jazz guitar. Sure, it's fun to play. But I'm not a jazz musician myself. I respect it. I'm not good at it. As simple as that. I prefer more like rock kind of things. I like things with a steady, 4/4 rhythm.
Yeah.
Whereas jazz is just music chaos, but strung together very brilliantly.
Let me do these 8 different instruments at 8 different settings and put them all together. And you're just like, there's music.
Yeah, like it's good. A lot of it is good, but there's you have to like that chaos to a point.
I mean, that's essentially what the definition of jazz is just music chaos.
Yeah, but they do it to a good point. But to bring it back to the episode and why I liked it, it's just that genuine love for the previous father, and they just brought it all together and everyone to the back room and jammed out, and it was a good time. And it was just a good, I don't want to say bro time, but like it was just a good time. Wholesome. Thank you. Yeah, that was a good one. It's just wholesome and it was great.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the Louisiana arc of this season.
Yeah, it was really good.
Okay, so I got another question to throw into the mix. We know that this was a precursor for a mobile video game.
Yep.
What are your guys' thoughts on a potential season 2 of an anime versus what they could potentially elaborate in the video game itself?
I'll start. I don't think there's going to be a season 2. I think it'll completely depend on the success of the mobile game, and simply because of just past video games. I mean, like, they made Halo movies, sure. They're making video game movies now. I mean, look at The Witcher. I mean, it has a show now. And yeah, it's becoming increasingly more popular, but those are all for console games. They're not for mobile games. And I think this is a very interesting route and definitely the start of a new era. But I don't think a season 2 is going to come out from this simply because it's just too new of a thing, making a show that's a prelude to a mobile game. I think it's just the start of something that's going to happen in the future.
Right. Yeah, I can say if and only if the mobile game is anything of a success is if we will see a season 2 of the anime.
Which that comes out in late June, I believe.
Late June. Yeah. So by the time you guys, our listeners, are listening to this, it's probably the mobile game is okay. I know it's been delayed here and there, but by the time you guys are listening to this, it probably should be out by now.
Maybe within a week or two. And I'm not a fan of mobile games. I know a lot of people are, and they get really sucked into them. I'm just not one of those people. I like my PC games. I like my console games. I've never really been into mobile games that much. It's just me personally as a gamer. I know there's a lot of people that are head driven into them, and they get full on addicted, just like I do to my console games. Sure, it's all the same thing. I've just never seen a mobile game other than like Clash of Clans or Candy Crush get major fame. So I don't see this game getting that kind of level of fame.
Oh, compared to those mega names? Yeah. No fucking way.
I just don't see it.
But
I hate to say it, but I don't.
It goes. I mean, I guess it's going to depend on the individual's personal lifestyles. Like, if you are that kind of person that can spend 5 to 20 minutes here and there fucking around on your phone, which is kind of me on a lot of my breaks or in the mornings, or like just anything, any moment that you have. Like, okay, so if you're that person that's going to flick through Facebook or flick through any kind of social media for like 5-10 minutes at a time, and then the next thing you know, 10-15 minutes has gone by, and all you've been doing is looking at other people's shitty fucking posts, that's the same thing that another person is doing in a mobile game. Mm-hmm. So mobile games are super popular for that purpose, and I fall victim to one of them. I play Summoner's War. To me, that game is like a Pokemon aspect. Like, I just want to collect all of the individual stupid fucking
collection
things.
base.
Yeah.
Those are always fun.
So that's where I fall into victim to that specific game. But like,
maybe this could be collecting music hearts.
That's exactly what this is going to be. The mobile game is going to be a collection game.
Okay.
It's going to be a gacha. You're going to get all the pretty little girls.
You sure about that?
That's
Just
what I
saying
assume.
it like that. Because they're only girls, and music hearts are only girls.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at. So that's my assumption. You're just, if it's not going to be I don't want to say it's going to be a card game, but it's going to come off as a card game. That's what I'm thinking at the very moment right now.
Do you think it'll be more turn-based or like war, like card-based?
I would like to imagine that you're going to have the controller set where the left is the controller and the right is the action buttons. And you're going to have an open world, a fake open world concept, level by level kind of thing doing.
I can see
you're
that.
just going to go and attack random ass guys. And like, you're going to draw, like at the end of every level, you're going to get points. And then those points will add up to, you get 1 capsule for 100 points, or you get 10 capsules for 900 points because it's a deal. What kind of thing? Like, that's kind of what I'm getting.
Gotcha.
Thinking at like it's gonna be a gamble.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna play this game when it comes out. I'm more into watching this than playing it. I'm excited to see where it goes. I love the fact that it's another music anime, but I'm probably not gonna play the game.
I don't know.
Will you? You give it a shot?
I would want to see some screenshots first, and if it's pretty looking, maybe I'll give it a shot. And if it's going to be one of those mobile games that needs to have like Summoner's War, where you need to spend 10 minutes here and there every single fucking day, then like I'm already pre-committed to
other
something
things.
else. So
Yeah.
Matt, what about you?
I haven't pre-registered, so
Okay, so you're committed.
I am committed at the very least of saying I will download it.
Okay. I would love to hear your experience with it.
It is going to be an RPG style game. I think it's going to be turn-based.
Okay.
I love turn-based stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that brings back the old, like, I still play Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on my NES, and there's just something about that classic gameplay style, like Pokemon, Final Fantasy.
It's
the
just
turn-based
it's
is
that
fun.
chess style tactile. Like, I'm gonna do this move before I know you can do this move, and it's just it's thinking into the future before like button mashing and just doing whatever you can do. I like planning attacks.
Yep.
It's a little different on the phone. On a mobile game, I will let everybody know, well, maybe not everybody, but I will let you guys know at the very minimum whether it's even worth it or not.
Okay.
We'll see. It's worth it.
I mean, if you really like it, I'll give it a try. I mean, there's no loss in it. It's not like you have to commit your life to this mobile game. But I mean, I was more about this show just for the musical concept of just you hear a lot of really good classical music in this anime.
Yep.
I don't know if you'll get the same thing from the mobile experience.
Maybe, but my phone has been on silent for years, so you know.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Yes.
Do you guys have any reference on why Takt's dad was called the Rooster?
That is never explained. It is only referred to as, oh, you're the son of the rooster.
Yeah, there was 2 separate mentions in the anime.
It'll be talked about in the mobile game.
I think it was episode 6 and episode 9. on. Yeah, do you think that mobile game has something to do with it more?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. What's your?
I think the mobile game's going to be like the main story, and this was all prerequisite. So we're going to find out about Takt's father. We're going to find out what truly happens to Anna, whether she does turn into Destiny or if it was just a symphonic.
Oh, so you think it will go pre-Takt Op Destiny, like as far as the anime goes?
No, I think it'll go post the closing credit scenes.
Okay, but I think what I was trying to say earlier was, is it going to explain why Takt's dad was called the Rooster?
I think so. I think they'll make references and
which
stuff.
Which was pre this anime.
Yes, but Takt will be in a cryogenic state, so they'll have an opportunity to talk about his father.
Okay. So you think the game should probably mention more along those lines?
Yes.
Okay.
It's called Takt.
Taktop Rooster.
No.
Taktop Rooster.
I was gonna say, are you fucking serious? Is that what the game's called?
No, it's Takt Op Symphony.
That's what the game is called?
Yes.
The mobile app
Yes.
is called Takt Op Symphony?
Yes.
Is there a period after the OP?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, it's
a
an
symbol for
abbreviation.
Opus.
Yep, just to make everybody on the same page.
Yes. So it'll be
Opus?
Opus.
Yes.
Takt Opus Symphony. Okay, so let's talk about the ending real quick, since now that we kind of brought it in. Mm-hmm. We have Anna, who is now part of the Symphonica.
Yes.
Sorry.
She is, I want to say, technically a conductor.
Probably.
So at the end of the episode, not the closing credits, but prior to the closing of the episode, she is a conductor.
Mm-hmm. Right, because the Symphonica has some
uniform,
fucking some way of understanding that individuals have a way to harmonize.
I think it's in your blood. I think they
the Alpha Youth.
Yes.
I think that's what they called it.
Those are sounding familiar.
Mm-hmm. So it's in your blood.
Yeah, so there's a way that they know that you can be part of this deal.
Yeah, that's how they found out Lenny could be one, because they had him in the hospital and they're like, well, you possess the blood of someone who can actually fight these things.
Exactly. That's kind of where I was originating all my thoughts from. But we have a very weird fucking ending post-credit scene where we have Anna walking off into the distance, and then what appears to be Destiny slowly appearing as where Anna would be walking off into.
Yes.
You see, right before she appears, though, Anna's walking down and she says, Cosette, Destiny, are you ready? And then you see the silhouette of a Destiny in her red garb and heels and everything. So I don't know if she's able to summon Destiny with that with that charm bracelet she gets, the charm piece she gets, or if she is the new music heart for Anna, like if she's able to summon her with it. So whether Anna becomes Destiny or summons Destiny, it's actually very similar to the Fate Stays series with like a commander controlling some celestial being. That's kind of what I compared it to personally, but I don't know whether Anna is it or the controller of it. Matt or Lantz?
Oh, sorry. Let me just steal this one. My impression is that pendant has the power of Destiny within it, and the wielder of this pendant can bring it back out. So I'm going to say that Anna can combine whatever she's learning through this Symphonica and combine herself with Destiny, and then just become a force to be reckoned with.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot more symbolism than it was revealing anything. I just thought it was just her and her little sister.
At very first thought, yes. I thought it was all symbolism. I thought it was, this was Anna walking away and Destiny being like, I'm with you here. Mm-hmm. But I think the potential future anime and honestly the game itself is going to be like, we're going in a complete different direction. You're one and the same kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Matt, do you have any theories about where this is going to go?
I kind of like the fact that, they become one. I also don't like the fact that they become one. I'm really conflicted. I don't know. I really don't. I'm going to say it is Destiny / Cosette taking over Anna's body.
See, I have a problem.
You want to bring Cosette back into this?
Because they're sisters.
I'm going to say...
they're not sisters.
Cosette and Anna are sisters. Yes.
No, they made a couple of options.
What?
A couple times they made clear that they're not biological sisters. How about that?
What do you mean? I thought there was the little sister of the group.
No.
So when Lottie,
it's Japanese.
Anna,
No, it's a Japanese thing. It was someone who looks up to another person.
so it was like a foster child?
No, it was literally just someone who looks up to someone else as a role model. That's all that was. So between the three of them, Takt.
But they have family pictures with her as a child.
Yeah, because
At her parents' house.
They were just family friends. They were just child friends. They've always been in each other's lives.
Huh.
They've made
Okay.
they've made mentions that no one is biologically related.
Interesting. Okay, because the whole time I thought that Cosette was the littlest sister, because even in like episode 8 or 9 or 10, when they make it to the parents' house, Cosette's in all those childhood pictures.
Yes, I know. And that's what's fucking annoying between the Japanese culture and the American culture is they're making us believe that they are biologically related, but no, it's just because they were that close knit as a group.
Interesting.
There's-
See, that just shatters my entire universe.
If anything, that makes the kissing scenes better.
It does.
Okay, so that makes the kissing scenes less worse. So
I thought it was sisters fighting over this one dude,
No.
which I thought was a major turn on. But
literally nobody's related to anybody.
all right, okay, that changes things
Cosette is not related to Anna
at all.
and Anna is not related to
Anna's related to Lottie,
Lonnie. Yes.
but they're not related to
Main
Cosette.
characters.
Did you know that?
Our
I did
three main characters are not related to each other.
What?
I assume they were.
I
but
also made the assumption they were.
No.
I'm gonna have to watch this a third time.
No, that's just Japanese lore. It sounds weird to say lore, but that's just
Like, I know they have, like, Japanese culture, they have multiple different words for love. Like, the love of a spouse is different from the love of a girlfriend, which is different from the love of a friend, which is different than love of a family friend. Like, they have many different words for it. So I'm not going to disagree with you. Like, sure, that could definitely be a thing. I was just totally under the assumption this whole time that they were trying to recover their old sister, Cosette.
No.
Oh my God.
yeah. Nobody's
Another reason to rewatch this show.
yeah. Nobody is between our three main characters. Nobody's biologically related.
Well, I knew they were related to.
In fact, I think they made a slight weird reference. I almost want to say that Cosette was like adopted into something, like orphanated into something. I don't know, but like no, like I can say
never
this. I
caught
can say
that.
that for sure. There's no biological reference.
Interesting. Okay, well then that's more to learn. I mean, hell, you can watch a show twice and still not catch that. That's wild. Okay, I always made the assumption that Cosette was the youngest sister who had different hair color. Interesting. Okay.
But Cosette never fully lived with them full time. She was only there part time just to clean.
So kind of like a what do they call that? There's a German word for it. An au pair.
Gosh, no, I'm kidding. What?
Au pair.
Au pair?
Yeah. When like someone comes in from another country and they're like living with you, but they're not adopted kind of thing. It's a different circumstance. I don't know.
Foreign exchange student?
Different from that. Like like that, but instead of being a student, you're a babysitter for the family. Does that make sense?
Non-slave slave?
No. You're paid. Not a slave.
Paid slave? I'm kidding.
An indentured servant, sort of?
Kind of.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's called au pair in German.
Okay.
Like A-U-P-E-R-E.
My German roots are definitely not hitting with this one.
You are definitely German. I know you're German.
Yeah. 25% at minimum.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to rewatch the show and figure out where Cosette's family allegiances lie. All right, any last thoughts on the show? Precursor to a mobile game?
No.
Well, I think this is a solid point to mention that there is no Matt's Manga Mentions because this is a standalone. This was an anime strictly made for a mobile game. So there is no source anime.
Yes.
In terms of manga, because most anime comes from manga.
Manga or a light novel, yes.
Or a light novel. Yeah, or a light novel. That's the next biggest one. But this one, the original source is a video game
that hasn't even been released yet.
That has not been released yet. So this is nothing more than just a big fucking
ad.
Yeah, exactly. It's an advertisement.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. And like, I think this is a very good idea. So I hope this does well for them. This might be a trend for a future anime. I have an inkling that I've seen this in the past. Right now at the moment, I can't place my finger on what I've seen this Bond before, but I know this sounds familiar. That I've seen a show before, some kind of video game or movie or advertisement, something.
Final Fantasy did something like this years ago. Like
we've been talking
20 years ago.
I was gonna say a long time ago.
It was like it was on Earth, but there were like spirit creatures that could take your soul, and they were either blue or red. It was kind of weird. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that movie. That was a good movie.
It's like called Revolution or something, or Revelation.
I don't know, but it was a fun movie.
I don't know. It was good. It was good, but that's the closest thing I can bring to this.
Yeah, I don't remember the movie name, but it was a fantastic movie. It was just fun. It was good. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
I think this is an interesting idea, and I'm curious to see where it goes. And I would love to hear, Matt, when you play this game, if you play this game, I know you're going to download it at least, but hopefully it doesn't just take up RAM space on your phone.
If it does, I can delete it.
Yeah, right. Give it a week or two. Who knows? I think I might do the same thing. When it comes out, I think I'll give it a week or two. And if I'll give an honest review over all this stuff.
We're all gamers, so we'll give it a shot. If it's up our alley, we'll continue playing it. If we're not, then so be it.
We'll just stop. Yeah, no big deal.
And that wraps up another episode of the Anime Lounge podcast. Thank you everybody for listening thus far. If you have listened to us to this point, that means you like us. Please give us a rating on whatever platform you're listening to us on. We are brought to you by the Animes Show. Please follow them on Facebook and Instagram. They bring you all of the information that you need to be up to date with on everything anime. Thanks again for listening to the Anime Lounge podcast. We'll catch you guys next time.
Have a good one.
Over and out. But you're right, it ended way too quickly. It's almost like they were like blowing certain it's like they were blowing certain portions of their budget off certain parts of the episode.